Alright, hello everyone and welcome to AEW Discussion. I'm Ross and AEW enthusiast Nuggy Doug. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing Dynamite, May 17, 2023 episode. So, on the road to Double or Nothing, AEW would make a stop in the Moody Center in Austin, Texas for an episode of Dynamite that had the goal of advancing stories, providing explanations, and hopefully adding some matches to the upcoming pay-per-view card, which it did. Looking at the card, we have Anarchy in the Arena. That made official Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. However, the Elite is still one member short, so perhaps Tenosuke Kakesha. Tenosuke Kakesha. Butchering the name, I'm bad at pronouncing it, but you know who I'm talking about. Maybe he'll be added into the mix to even that one up. Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm running the pack for the AEW Women's World Title. A 21-man blackjack battle royal for the AEW International Championship. And a TNT title match, ladder match for the TNT title, which unnecessary ladder match is unnecessary. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into the action, starting with Christian Cage and Wardlow, or Luchasaurus laying out Wardlow to start the show. So this was a short 5-minute promo segment that highlighted the TNT Championship program and got some heat on Christian after weeks of backing out in the face of Wardlow's fury. Whether it was the right call to have this segment kick off the show, given that it is a mid-card program, that's another conversation entirely. Probably not the best segment to kick off the show, but it wasn't terrible, so I think it was okay. But this was a solid and effective use of the first couple of minutes of Dynamite. And again, a ladder match was made official for the TNT title, Christian Cage versus Wardlow, and as I said, unnecessary ladder match for the TNT title is unnecessary. But should be interesting to see how that one plays out. Hikaru Shida and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD versus the Outcast, Tony Storm and Ruby Soho. So Jamie Hayter and Saraya were both originally scheduled to compete in this match, but an injury to the AEW Women's World Champion necessitated a change. It didn't hurt the quality of the match though, as the bout was a fun one that may not have reinvented the wheel, but it did get the Outcast back on the winning track after they were outsmarted a week ago. With Double or Nothing coming up, it's not known exactly if or what the plans are for those involved regarding Double or Nothing. If there is something in the works for Double or Nothing, probably is, I guess we know what it is. It's Hayter and Storm competing for the AEW Women's World Title, which would leave Baker, Saraya, and Soho off the card, and Shida off the card, potentially, but hopefully, with Hayter versus Storm after Double or Nothing, that will be the conclusion of this feud. As solid as this match was, it is time for these ladies to move on and do something new and fresh, whatever that may be. Do that. Roderick Strong versus Chris Jericho, Falls Count Anywhere. So this match had a lot going on. Maybe those of you who remember hardcore matches during the Attitude Era of WWE, this was probably a reminder of those. I don't remember those matches, but if you do, maybe this reminded you of that. Some might make the argument that the match was good, or that it was like an onion and that it had layers. But it was really just a good old-fashioned brawl around the arena that most likely existed solely to get Adam Cole his moment of revenge on Chris Jericho, or his first moment of revenge. Which it did, and the reveal was certainly well done. Shout out to that cameraman for that reveal. And the outcome was the right one. Love the match style or not, it did what it set out to do, and the result was a successful one. Now, we still don't have any further update in regards to the program between Adam Cole and Chris Jericho. Still likely there's going to be a match between the two at Double or Nothing. And then we have Don Callis. Well, he spoke for a little bit. I don't remember anything that he said. Mostly because what he said was pretty generic. And then you have the Blackpool Combat Club, doing something that they seemingly only know how to do, and that's just fight. Which I guess makes sense given their, they can cut promos too. But yeah, Blackpool Combat Club on the attack once again against the Elite. In this segment, it looked like AEW was kind of rushing through it to get to the end. Certainly ran a minute over TV time. Evidence, which is further evidence that the layout of the show had too much going on, too much booked. Some of that stuff that was booked was middling content, which would leave the important stuff to, like this show closing segment, to suffer as a result. Still, the return of Hangman Page drew a big pop, as did the announcement of the match for the pay-per-view. It would have been nice to get a less generic explanation from Callis before the segment descended into chaos, but there might be time for that later, if anyone cares. I don't, but maybe we'll get something else later from him. For now, this was a mostly successful show closing segment, if only because there is finally another main event quality match for the second biggest pay-per-view of the year for AEW, as well as the return of a former Raw champion in Paige, who is now reunited with the Elite, and I'd love to see it, but again, Elite is still short one person, so perhaps Takeshita will join forces with them again. Otherwise, I don't know who would. Who would join with the Elite? Adam Cole's busy. So, I mean, well, who else is there? So overall, this show felt like a miss. It felt like there was something off about the show from the moment that it started with a Wardlow promo segment to a Wardlow promo segment. Then you have the randomness that was the Cassidy Allen tag team match, the overbooking of matches and segments into a 2-hour window, and a shortened show closing segment that set up a huge match for a Double or Nothing pay-per-view. That certainly didn't help matters, rushing through that final segment. Now, perhaps the announcement of AEW Collision earlier in the day, perhaps maybe that had Tony Khan preoccupied, resulting in the show quality taking a hit. But whatever this broadcast was, it did not feel like the penultimate episode of Dynamite before the staple event that is Double or Nothing. Credit to Baker, Shida, Storm, and Soho, who had a fun tag team match midway through the show, Lee Moriarty for maximizing his minutes on TV, Orange Cassidy for continuing to be the company's MVP in 2023, and the cameraman behind the super cool visual of Cole appearing behind Jericho during the Falls Count Anywhere match. So it wasn't a complete disaster, but I think ultimately, when you put together a show like this that looks like it's emphasizing quantity over quality, it's a miss. Maybe let's do less, and maybe with another 2-hour show in the works, set to debut next month. Maybe we won't have this issue again. Maybe. But yeah, AEW Collision. I'm quite curious to see how this one plays out. It looks like there's a Thursday episode announced, which I guess that was my first question too, is how does it, what if the show needs to move? And I guess it moves to Thursdays, which would certainly be interesting during it. I'm still quite curious to see how this plays out during the NFL season as well. Come Saturdays as well, when WWE has a premium live event on Saturdays, and AEW, are they going back to Sunday pay-per-views during the NFL season, or are they pushing back Collision so they can have their Saturdays pay-per? Or I guess they could do both shows. They could do Collision. Could they do both shows? That's just still my biggest question with AEW Collision, is how does it play out during the NFL season? And with that, we'll see how that goes. And with that, we'll go ahead and wrap up this episode of AEW Discussion. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that like button down below.